and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnocky, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart and Jess Perkins.
Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Jess. Hey, quick question. How good is it to be alive?
Well, personally, Matt, I wish I was never born.
Oh, that's a bit rough. Coming to the end of this fine year of 2023, I think a lot of people are saying another great one.
Wow.
One of the best.
Yeah.
We didn't think it could get better, but year on year it does.
Yeah.
Yes, we're just on a hot streak
Honestly,
lately.
I start every year feeling a little glum because I think, well, bloody, here we go.
How do we top that?
I've had the best year of my life,
Yeah.
and then time after time,
Don't worry.
And you
new
think
year.
you've had the best year of your life? I think the world's had the best year of its life.
Yes!
Just going from strength to strength.
Collectively,
Yeah.
I haven't had to feel any kind of guilt or shame about how much I've been crushing it because so is everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to just continue to succeed when everybody else is suffering, but it's been really easy. It's been
Yeah.
a beautiful time, and I'm sad there's only a few days left in this miraculous year. One of my best.
But don't worry, 2024, that's where it's going to be
What do you
even
mean?
better.
It can't possibly get better than
Even
this.
better. That's right. We're raising the bar every year,
That's exciting.
both for the show and for humanity.
It's a huge claim. Now I'm feeling a little anxious.
Now,
I'd love, Jess, now that you are feeling anxious,
Yeah.
To throw something more on your plate. Can you explain how this show works?
Absolutely. Each week, one of the three of us researches a topic usually suggested to us by our wonderful listeners. We go away, we learn all about it, we come back, we tell the other two who very politely listen, who never interrupt with dog shit riffs, and who just, all around have a really respectful and polite time.
yeah, I'm ready to be polite. Matt, are you ready to be polite?
I was born ready to be polite.
And it's just any day now he'll do it. And we do usually start with a question.
And it's your turn.
It's my turn. I have a question for you. It's a two-part question, okay? Because I'm going to help. I don't think you know this topic, so I'm going to help you
Okay.
build it.
2 points over grabs?
Sure.
Great.
So,
Well-
first part, to help you piece this together, so we're going for two names. We're trying to figure out the name of this person, right? Firstly, what was the name of one of Charlie Chaplin's daughters?
Oh, okay.
Just go for old-timey names.
Glenda.
Not Glenda.
Guinevere.
Nope.
Mary.
No.
John.
Marilyn.
No.
Grace.
Oh, that's pretty good.
No, that's kind of old-timey.
Catherine,
Oh, no, but in the right kind of wheelhouse, I feel.
as in names.
It is a name.
Edna.
It is not Edna.
Mavis.
It starts with a J.
Janice.
Jillian.
No.
Jill.
No.
Junk.
Longer name.
Oh,
Janine.
Jacqueline.
No. No. And no.
Jezebel.
Genevieve.
No. No. No, he didn't have a Genevieve. He had a
Gilbert.
Geraldine, but
Geraldine with a J.
no.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Uh,
Think Ian
Janice
as well.
Justine.
No.
Janine.
Jean.
It's not Janine.
Jeannie.
Oh my
No,
god, this must
no,
be
no.
really brutal to listen to.
Okay.
One
What
of
do you mean? Charlie
Okay,
Chaplin's name.
Think Ian.
Hang on. So Joseph.
Ian.
Yes.
Josephine.
Josephine.
Or is it Josephine or is it Ian?
It's Josephine.
Okay, just checking. 'Cause
So
you said yes to
Josephine.
Ian.
I meant to say Jesus, Mary, and to get you to get to Joseph, and then I just said Joseph. So I helped you out a little bit there, but Josephine is correct. Second part, and probably, hopefully easier. What is the job title of a person who starts work very early?
Baker.
Yes. Can I read the rest?
Sure.
And is responsible
Josephine
for making
Baker.
bread, cakes, slices, scrolls, and other assorted treats.
Oh, yeah.
I spent ages writing that.
Butcher.
Baker is correct. Josephine Baker is correct. Dave, a point there for piecing it together so bravely.
Thank you.
Is that a name that rings any bells for you at all?
Yeah,
Really?
a bit. Possibly because I put her up for the vote before.
Right, yeah, one of those. 'Cause-
Doesn't ring any bells to me unless related to Julian Baker, the musician.
No.
Okay.
So it doesn't ring a bell for you then, by the sounds of it. And it's not a surprise that you've put this up to the vote because it's been suggested by so many people.
Yeah, I think that's why I've seen the name pop
It's
in
a
our
lot.
suggestion hat.
So I will read those names to you now because, again, there's heaps of them. So,
Do you need us to guess the names?
yes. So it starts with an X. Xavier. Xavier from Quebec.
Xylophone. Oh.
Casey from Eldridge, Tom Rourke from London, Zoe from the New South Wales Central Coast, Siobhan Russell from Cedar Creek in Queensland, Lucas Bender from Germany, Hannah Lang from Washington, D.C., Kalina from Brisbane, Adriana from Virginia, David Glue from Endeavour Hills, Beck
David
Barrett from Melbourne, Olivia Gatliff from London, Alec McElroy from Kansas, Daniel English from Sydney, Josh Harmon from Garland, Texas, Broderick Henry from Lexington, Baden from Ferntree Gully, Adam Legg from Derby, and Ashley F. from Virginia. Quite a lot of people.
Jess, were you just reading from the phone book just
Yes. Baden from Ferntree Gully made you laugh for some reason.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the one before.
no,
Broderick Henry from Lexington.
No, it was Glue.
Oh, yeah, you did love...
yeah, sorry, David Glue.
You did love David Glue.
I'm obsessed lately. We've had David Zest is a name that I was obsessed with. And a few weeks ago, we had a Patreon supporter whose name was David Coupe.
Yes.
And now we've got...
Drive away, no more to pay.
I love and David Glue. I'm just trying to think of ways I can make my name better, and there's 3 options right there.
Right there, but they already exist.
Yeah, but I'm going to...
Oh, not if you kill them.
and then put them in...
take their identity.
Yeah.
Okay, so figure out which one of them has a cooler identity.
Oh, I think David Coupe.
I was going to say, there's no... I don't think David Glue can compete with David Coupe.
What if David Glue's like a multi-millionaire?
That's true. Maybe he invented glue.
Philanthropist. Maybe he invented glue.
Maybe a philanderer.
GLEW. So, who knows?
Wow, I can't even spell.
It's exciting. So, yeah, this is a story of Josephine Baker. One person kind of in their suggestion had like I don't know, this could be the title maybe, but Josephine Baker, the Showgirl Spy.
Love it.
If that sells it to you a little bit.
We're in. Earlier this year we had a princess spy. Now I've got a showgirl spy. This is very cool.
Yeah, it's great. We love women who spy.
Yeah, we do. We actually do.
So
it's just like a nice way of saying eavesdropper and gossip.
It's better than saying, gosh, she was a gossip. But essentially...
No, she was a spy.
She was a spy.
Worked for the government.
Gathering intel.
Yeah.
Through gossip.
Gathering intel. Did you see what Christine was wearing?
And the government are like, this isn't helpful to us.
This isn't relevant to the war.
Okay, well, that's a whole section of my report that now doesn't need to be said.
Geez, she's aged.
Yeah.
I love that sort of stuff.
So
they.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
No,
that's not her shade.
Trouble in paradise, I've heard.
That jacket's from 3 years ago. Anyway, so Frida Josephine McDonald was born on June 3rd, 1906 in St. Louis, Missouri. I can't remember. There's a St. Louis and a St. Louis. I'm pretty sure the Missouri one is St. Louis.
I think that's St. Louis, right? Like the spirit of St. Louis.
Yes.
Is that plane?
Yes. Not St. Louis. There is a St. Louis. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we're going to say St. Louis for this one. It doesn't come up that much, but that's where she was born. She was raised by her mother, Carrie, but the identity of her biological father has been disputed over the years.
All right. I'm willing to put my hand up now. Yeah, I get it. That's what you've brought me here for today. It was me.
Wow, that was easy.
You really are old.
I thought I'd have to go through the whole thing, but yeah, no, got him.
You're going to go through it and shame him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I just keep bringing up how good it would have been if she had her father in her life.
Wow.
Anyway, this really sad thing happened, and it could have been prevented if her dad was there, but he wasn't.
Oh, it just wasn't in the right headspace.
It's taken you a century to...
1906? How old were you in 1906?
I was just a young buck of, 300-400 years old.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, it's tough.
You lose count.
Yeah.
I was born before abacus.
And everybody, put yourself in Matt's shoes. Think of when you were 300 or 400 years old.
Well, no, I was 300 or 400 before shoes. Put yourself in my clogs, sandals.
Put yourself in my bare feet.
Yes.
Yeah, you think sandals came before shoes?
Didn't they? Like, I'm thinking like Jesus sort of.
Yeah.
They weren't wearing like lace-up business shoes,
Yeah.
were
It's
they?
funny that you go, that's not shoes.
That's not
These
shoes.
are shoes.
Well, I think of a shoe as like a covered toe.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Adidas episode a few months ago, we did discover that they only had running shoes about 100 years ago. Before that, they were running in loaves of bread. So.
Yeah, that's true. So
Bakers were involved. Back to Baker.
beautiful segue. Some sources say that vaudeville drummer Eddie Carson was her biological father, while others dispute
Carson. As fridges as a bag of peas. Still were frozen. You might be thinking of a bag of fresh peas. Well,
No.
No, I'm talking about ones that have been deep in the freezer. What was his name again?
Eddie Carson.
Eddie Carson.
Yeah.
I doubt he even had a pinner. I doubt he even had one. Wouldn't have known what to do with it. The man was as frigid as the North Pole. He didn't have a pole, as far as I know.
Well, Matt is one of the many who disputed this and claimed that her father was a white man, actually, was what a lot of people said.
Yeah, doesn't get much whiter than me. I'm a pale man.
You are. Get some sun. Jesus.
Yeah, that's not good for me either.
No. There's really no winning, is there?
No.
Get a spray tan, though, because it is glary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably the happy medium.
Yes.
See, I'm either really pale and off-putting to you.
Yes.
Or I get cancer and die. But that would at least not be off-putting to you. I'm going to do an open casket.
That would have no impact to my life.
You're like, oh, but he died with a beautiful glow.
But he looked healthy for the first time. Academic Benita Jules Rosette, an amazing name, author of Josephine Baker in Art and Life, wrote about the difficulty of establishing the truth of Baker's early life, given the factual and counterfactual reworkings of her numerous biographers, and Baker's own numerous and often contradictory reworking of the story, which frequently lacked coherence. So it's one of those things of like, we're not really sure because she said a bunch of different stuff and every biographer has a different theory, so we're not really sure. But regardless, young Josephine spent her early years in the St. Louis neighborhood of Chestnut Valley, which is quite a cute name and sounds like a farming video game I would play.
It does sound like something you'd love.
I would love that. Stardew Valley, Chestnut Valley. Like I would play. I would play the shit out of that.
Isn't that where Brendan Fraser's nut job was set?
That was chest. It was chest something.
It was set in the chest.
It was set in the chest, in the heart.
If you zoomed out, the whole thing took part on a chest.
It's really beautiful.
A beautiful chest, yes.
So it sounds really cute and wholesome, but at the time was a low-income neighbourhood consisting mainly of boarding houses, brothels, and apartments with no indoor plumbing. So sort of a roughish kind of area.
I've just looked up the Brendan Fraser movie. It's set in Oakton.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, but it was chest. I'm sure of it.
Oak trees have chestnuts, right?
Yeah.
Or is that a chestnut tree has chestnuts, probably?
Ooh. Oak tree has oak nuts, you idiot.
Yeah, come on, mate. Jeez, we all know that.
God, you're embarrassing. So her mother, Carrie, married Arthur Martin, who was described as a kind but perpetually unemployed man.
Arthur Martin. That's
Arthur
fun.
Martin.
Arthur Martin.
Arthur Martin.
But I'd call him
Martin.
Artie Marty.
Oh.
Artie Marty. That's good.
I'd give Marty Marty a job.
But not many people did.
Yeah, because he didn't rebrand.
Or he would get a job and then, not have a job.
Okay.
But so her mother, Carrie, had a son and 2 more daughters with Artie Marty. To make ends meet, Carrie took in laundry to wash to make some money, and at only 8 years old, Josephine was sent out to work as a maid for white families. At 8.
Oh.
Bit late.
Got to start
Tiger
earlier.
Woods was hitting golf balls at the age of 3. You think you're going to get to the top of the game
You think you'd be
in the maid world?
You think you'd be number 1 maid ever?
At starting at 8, good luck, Grandma.
I never thought about it like that. I just thought, wow, that's awful. But you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, awfully late.
Awfully late. Apparently, one woman burned Josephine's hand as a punishment after Josephine used too much soap in the laundry.
Oh.
Too much soap.
Yeah.
You got to leave them wanting more.
It's
the
too
clients.
soapy. My
It's too
clothes are
clean.
too clean.
Yeah.
I smell too fresh.
Yeah. They're not going to want to come back for weeks now.
I don't think I was making my own school lunches at 8, let alone doing laundry.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, 8. What's that, grade 3? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't.
Nah.
I was cooking my own dinner.
At 8?
Yeah, I was sautéing my own flombards.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sounds delicious.
You couldn't think of any food.
No. Did I get one of those 2 words right?
Sautéing?
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
But I don't think you sauté a flombard. To answer your question.
Okay.
But do you flambe a sorbet?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
okay.
would have made more sense.
what
I had
Sorry.
it back to front.
That was your problem.
You couldn't think of a single food.
No.
Try now.
Desert.
God.
Crumble.
A crumble.
Crumble.
Sure. An apple crumble.
Apple crumble.
Yeah.
I often get desert and dessert confused as well, so that's fine.
That's tricky. 1 S. Has it ever meant so much? I don't know if it has.
Anyway, so it sounds like she was working and attending school for a few years, which is wild. But by 12, she dropped out of school and at 13 was working as a waitress at the old Chauffeurs Club and busking on street corners for extra money. At times, she lived on the street, sleeping in cardboard shelters and scavenging for food from garbage cans. I don't know what was happening at home in that time, but
what kind of busking was she doing?
Like dancing?
Dance busking.
Yeah.
And what year are we talking about?
It's like the early 1900s. She was born in 1906.
Dancing back
So what are we
there.
up to, the 20s now? If she's 13?
It's probably like ballroom dancing,
close, yeah.
I guess.
She's doing ballroom dancing.
Yeah,
with a broom.
There's I don't know if this is happening all over Melbourne, but there's 2 intersections that I drive through every day where people have started juggling every single day.
Juggling at the lights?
At the lights. And the first day, I was like, that was fantastic. Here's some money. But I can't afford to pay every
day
because I go through it 4 times.
You can't afford to pay a couple of bucks every day to a juggler.
We're not made of jugglers. But I want a way to be more memorable so they remember this guy's already paid.
Oh, you think that should get you multiple days of juggling?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't need any days of juggling.
I think what you need to do to be memorable is you need to get out of the car and start juggling too.
Yeah. Right. Oh, okay.
I'll pay you in kind.
A juggling takeover.
Yeah. Not a takeover, just like a momentary juggling duet.
Or I say...
And then you're back in the car and you go.
You take 5, I've got it, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a rest.
You make a bit of cash.
Yeah, but I pay it forward to him.
Oh, okay.
What? I think you need a way, like... Because the old version of that was wiping your windows down, cleaning your windows.
Yeah,
and
they still do that.
You just give it I'm okay, thanks, if you don't need it.
So they start juggling.
I'm okay, thanks. No juggling for me.
I'm good.
Just do that.
No.
Thank you, though.
No, all good.
Do they come to your window?
With the hat.
Jesus Christ.
Tipped out, and I just have to do I'm fiddling with my radio again. Yeah. Sorry, didn't see you.
But who has cash?
Yeah, that's the thing.
They've got a QR code.
They don't.
Yeah.
A QR code.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not getting my phone out while I'm driving. That's unsafe.
Yeah. So you got to scan it, log on to their PayPal.
No.
Transfer. The lights don't last, obviously, that long.
No, that's unsafe.
I've already seen a juggling show.
Dave, I think you've got to go get some coins out so you're just ready for the juggler.
And be prepared when you go and get some coins out, because I have to do that fairly regularly. They will say, laundry day, is it? And I go, yeah.
No, I'm just driving past the juggler. Yeah. Now you can say that to him.
Yes, I said no.
No, I'm driving past the juggler. This is for buskers.
Yeah. But they're going to love that even more. Oh, juggling day. Well, are they up to clubs yet? Bit of fun.
Wow. What fun it must be to work in a bank.
What, working in clubs? Have you seen many jugglers in clubs?
Yeah, club juggling.
What are we doing? Jess, please go on.
So she's we got here from dancing.
Oh, yes.
Street dancing.
Busking.
She's busking. Around this time, she met Willie Wells at the old Chauffeurs Club and married him soon after.
Okay.
She's 13.
Oh.
How old's Willie Wells?
Unsure, but
He's from the old
age.
Chauffeurs Club as well. This is like a club for retired chauffeurs?
I don't know what the old Chauffeurs Club is. Wow.
And you imagine, like, chauffeurs on movies are always really old anyway. So to retire, you'd have to be like 100.
Yeah, so that's quite a gap.
100-year-old marrying a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What would they have in common? What would they even talk about?
Chauffeurs Club. I couldn't figure out how to spell chauffeur. Don't worry about it. Anyway, it was some sort of club.
And he's probably older, and it's a bit sus.
Yeah, and she's 13. The marriage lasted less than a year, and she was divorced by 14 years old.
Oh, yeah.
What a way to live. From this website I found called wikipedia.org, which is like it's all about like movie stars and chauffeurs clubs. Yeah. From Wiki, it says, in her teen years, she struggled to have a healthy relationship with her mother, who did not want her to become an entertainer and scolded her for not tending to her second husband, William Howard Baker, whom she married in 1921 at the age of 15.
Wow, second William in 2 years.
Yeah. William Howard Baker. She left him when her vaudeville troupe was booked into a New York City venue and divorced in 1925. It was during this time she began to see significant career success, and she continued to use his last name professionally for the rest of her life. So the surname Baker came from a brief marriage when she was 15.
Right.
And she just kept that name forever.
So she's been briefly married at 13 and 15.
Yeah. She's been divorced twice.
Dave loves a world record. She's She's on world record pace, I would say. If they did that line, in the swimming pool at the Olympics, she'd be ahead of the line.
Yes. She can't even see the line.
No.
Yeah, the line's miles back.
I'm looking it up for a world record for most divorces.
Wow.
Well, apparently the highest divorce rate is from the Maldives, number 1. 10.9.
You live in paradise.
10.9 per 1,000 marriages.
10.9.
No, sorry, 10.97 divorces per 1,000 inhabitants per year.
I don't understand what that means.
I think
it's double at least the second, which is Belarus.
But I don't understand
that's
what
a per
that means.
head divorce rather than a per marriage divorce, which I think would...
Yeah, so every 1,000 people that live there, every year, 10 of those people will get divorced.
So is that 5 divorces or 10 divorces, so 20 people?
Oh, very good.
Oh, that's a good question.
Good
But what is it, 1%?
That's not that bad. If you're like, there's 1,000 people and 10 of us are going to get divorced, I'd feel pretty good in those odds.
Yeah, but each year. So I think it would be a better...
But then more people would get married.
Yeah, a better percentage would be how many marriages end in divorce.
Okay. I found our winner, Glenn Wolfe, also known as Scotty Wolfe.
Okay.
From Party 5?
No, but...
What a reference.
Was that who? Is that his name?
I don't know. Party of 5 is before our time.
Yeah, no idea what you're talking about. Scotty Wolfe was an American Baptist minister who resided in Blythe, California. He is best known for allegedly having the largest number of monogamous marriages, having married 31 different times, although one of his marriages was annulled and several remain unconfirmed. And you know on Wikipedia how there's a column under the photo usually saying their marriages and there might be 2? This is what his looks like. It's just...
Oh, wow.
It's just scroll.
Oh, man. You would lose count. Like, as in, I reckon you'd forget some of their names.
Wow. 19 children.
Oh, God.
Good on you, Scotty Wolfe.
That's, probably pretty low rate of children per marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Wolfe was from Party 5, as was Matthew Fox.
Important things to
Fox
know.
and Wolf.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Speaking another language
about
that.
Wow. Anyway, so I mentioned a vaudeville troupe in there. So at around 13 years old, her consistent badgering of a show manager led her to being recruited for the St. Louis Chorus Vaudeville show. She travelled with the group to New York to perform and ended up auditioning for and securing a role in the chorus line of a touring production of the Broadway revue Shuffle Along. I love old-timey show names. I mean, all of them sound ridiculous, but...
Shuffle Along.
Shuffle Along.
Yeah, back in the days when any name was available.
You could have anything. You could have called it Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked wasn't taken.
They could have called it Cats.
You could have.
Yeah, like now, it's a struggle to come up with a
Could have
name.
called it Siegfried and Roy's Magical Hour.
You could.
Could have called it David Copperfield Makes a Ship Disappear.
Yeah.
Could have called it David Coupe, starring David Coupe.
You could have called it that.
You could have called it Diagnosis Murder.
But they went for Shuffle Along.
Shuffle Along.
From Wikipedia again. In Shuffle Along, Baker was a dancer positioned at the end of the chorus line. Fearing she might be overshadowed by the other dancers, she used her position to introduce a hint of comedy into her routine, thereby making her stand out from other dancers.
Wow. So she's
doing a little like...
on the side, like funny dancing.
Yeah.
That's like you don't get overshadowed. That's the point of a chorus line. You're just one big thing, isn't it?
She's like, I'm going to stand out.
I don't want to be overshadowed by these other people doing exactly what I'm doing.
It'd be great if they all had that thought, though. They're like, I'll do the funny dance tonight. And then they're just upstage freestyling. Whoop.
It's like, you're just supposed to dance across the stage and leave. I don't know. They're all out there just crumping. Yeah. That's where crumping was started. Yeah, it's crazy. She first entered Shuffle Along in 1922 in one of the US touring companies. Once she became of age, she was transferred to the Broadway production where she remained for several months up until the show ended in 1923. The next revue Baker was cast in was The Chocolate Dandies, which opened on September 1st, 1924. Again, she was cast in the chorus line. It ran for 96 performances and closed in November of 1925. So she's working fairly consistently and she's still very young.
And is she still like trying to show up the others?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she's...
The rest of the dandies?
Yeah.
When you hear of someone who's been divorced twice, you don't expect years later to hear the line, when she became of age.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Married at 13.
I feel like being divorced, you're of age now.
Yeah.
I think numbers don't mean anything.
Yeah.
I'm picturing it like, she's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of my first husband. How old are you? 16.
So though Baker travelled, she would return with gifts and money for her mother and younger half-sisters, but larger career opportunities pushed her to make a trip to France.
Oh, okay.
Exciting. In 1925, aged 19, she sailed to Paris and performed in an all-black revue that October. In Paris, she became an instant success. A writer, Gary Young, writes, "She scandalized and titillated Paris, appealing to the sense of the primitive and the exotic that pervaded Europe during the Jazz Age. She's in constant motion, her body writhing like a snake, or more precisely, like a dipping saxophone," wrote the critic Pierre some sort of very confusing French name.
Like a snake. Sorry, let me be even more specific. A dipping saxophone.
He goes on to say, "Music seems to pour from her body. She grimaces, crosses her eyes, wiggles disjointedly, does the splits, and finally crawls off the stage, stiff-legged, her rump higher than her head, like a young giraffe."
She's crawling with her rump high?
She sounds terrible.
That sounds nothing like a snake.
She's going cross-eyed and
Is she possessed? Is she having a seizure up there?
I think so. But she wiggles disjointedly. Then she does the splits. And then she crawls off the stage stiff-legged, but with her ass in the air.
Meanwhile,
and her head down.
The rest of the chorus line are just perfectly in time, shuffling away from her.
And she's just...
What the hell?
And they're like, "Oh, she moves like jazz."
She's like crawling along the ceiling, like Exorcist style. Her head vomiting,
spinning.
spewing, head turning, yeah.
And they're like, "Wow, she's mystifying. She's a star." Later, Baker said, "No, I didn't get my first break on Broadway. I was only in the chorus in Shuffle Along and Chocolate Dandies. I became famous first in France in the 1920s. I just couldn't stand America, and I was one of the first coloured Americans to move to Paris." And she says, "Oh, yes, Bricktop was there as well." I'll talk about Bricktop in a sec.
Oh, Bricktop.
Me and
No
her...
thanks, Turkish.
Yeah, I knew
I'm
that would
sweet
come up.
enough.
Me and her were the only two, and we had a marvellous time. Of course, everyone who was anyone knew Bricky, and they got to know Miss Baker as well. She talks like she's in the 20s. I love it. So Ada Bricktop Smith, very famous American jazz singer who owned the famous nightclub Chez Bricktop in Paris from 1924 to 1961. She's been called one of the most legendary and enduring figures of the 20th century American cultural history. So Bricktop's
good on
quite
you,
famous
Bricky.
as well. But yeah, was in Paris around the same time. So Gary Young, he writes again, "Baker was something of a pioneer in this journey, but she was by no means alone. During the decades immediately before and after World War II, a significant cohort of black artists facing repression in the US would seek exile in France, where they found not only acceptance, but adulation. There is more freedom in one square block of Paris than there is in the entire United States of America," wrote novelist Richard Wright, who moved to France in 1946, claimed French citizenship, and died there in 1960. And another writer...
Sorry, he moved there in 1946.
Yes.
Like a year after they'd taken it back from the Nazis.
Yep.
A lot of freedom there, and there always has been.
Yep. Definitely. Resources are high. Food, very available.
Okay.
But he felt more free there than in the US.
And the US is the land of the free.
I know.
So I can only imagine that this
Paris is...
new town, what is it?
Paris.
Paris?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that must have been free.
Wow, is that short for paradise?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
And it's the kind of place where you could walk stiff-legged with your rump in the air
Yeah.
and people would celebrate you.
People would be like,
that's how free it is.
"Brava, madam," they would say. Incredible stuff. You wouldn't get that in the US.
No.
No matter how hard you try. So the...
It is funny because America did have a little something to do with Paris having freedom. Imagine leaving America just after they've helped free a lot of Europe from the Nazis. And they're like, glad I'm away from that stinkhole America
Yeah.
and here in the land of the free, Paris.
And these are specifically...
Oh, the Nazis, I can still see them walking out.
But
So you
God,
got-
I'm free.
What were you up to? Where are you going?
But it is...
It's free here.
it is kind of interesting because, like, I mean, these are specifically black artists. So...
Right,
it is very
yes,
different for them.
okay.
But Gary Young, this writer that I'm quoting, talks about he's a black Englishman, and he talks about living in Paris in his uni days in the 90s and facing huge racial issues.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
got
like
big issues there.
it was just at that time it was pretty good,
Right.
you know,
In comparison to
in comparison to the US.
USA, where there's a lot of segregation.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. This makes a lot of sense.
I was looking at that all through my slightly privileged lens, I should say.
But yeah, it's just like, it's kind of like, oh wow, it's great. And then this guy Gary Young's like, wasn't in the 90s, and you're like, okay.
I think it's been a bit grim there since the night. It still is, I think, in Paris.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kristen D. Burton writes for the National World War II Museum. There's a great article written there. Unlike the United States, France did not racially segregate public places on a large scale. When Josephine and her castmates boarded a train in France, they were surprised but happy to learn they could sit anywhere they liked.
Right, okay. We're seeing what they're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josephine was also shocked to see the costumes created for her to perform in. One consisted only of a bikini bottom covered in flamingo feathers. After one performance, Josephine quickly took to this kind of erotic dancing and became a rising star.
Do you think there's a more erotic bird than the flamingo?
I challenge anyone to find a more
Man,
erotic
that's a
bird.
horny bird.
What about that hot bird in Dublin?
Oh man, it was a magpie.
yeah.
We were losing our
The
minds over
Irish
it.
magpie. My
So
God.
beautiful.
That is a hot bird.
Hottest bird we've ever seen.
We were like, look at that fucking bird. It's so beautiful.
Couldn't believe how hot bird.
And the
that
Irish
bird was.
listeners saw the video and were like, it's a magpie.
Magpie, they're a dime a dozen.
We were losing our
They didn't
minds.
say it like that. They said, "Dara dime a dozen." I can't do the Irish accent. You do. Yeah.
That's just a magpie. They're a dime a dozen.
Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Very good.
Thank you
Well
so
said.
much. Thank you so much. I'm sure Irish listeners would agree. That was very
That was
good.
spot on.
So over time, Josephine became the most successful entertainer in France. Like, she has just hit the scene. She's a huge star. They
Love it.
love her.
Awesome.
She performed the Danse Sauvage, wearing a now famous costume consisting of a skirt made of a string of artificial bananas.
Okay. Is there a hornier fruit than the banana?
Maybe a peach, but I think
Oh,
peach is
yeah.
second
Yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah,
it
they're
looks
top-
like a butt.
They're top two.
Did I have to explain that? Did you get that?
Oh, I got it.
It looks like a butt.
Oh my God.
Banana looks like an even weirder butt.
Yeah, that's
a really, really-
That's like, get that checked if that's what your butt looks like. So yeah, she's quite famous for that. It was just a skirt made out of bananas. So much of her success was, of course, due to her talent and her stage presence, but she also had incredible luck with timing. Her early success coincided with the 1925 International Exhibition of Modern, Decorative and Industrial Art. It was designed by the French government to highlight the new modern style of architecture, interior decorating, furniture, glass, jewellery, and other decorative art in Europe and throughout the world. And it's said that this exhibition gave birth to the term Art Deco and also brought with it a renewal of interest in non-Western forms of art, including a big interest in African art. A fun tidbit, and something that a lot of people mention when suggesting her as a topic. I think she sort of lent into the African thing. She had a pet cheetah
Whoa.
named Chiquita, who would often accompany her on stage in her later shows. Chiquita, adorned with a diamond collar, would often escape into the orchestra pit, terrorizing the musicians and delighting audiences.
Is there a hotter land mammal than the cheetah?
I don't think so.
Certainly not a faster one.
Definitely
No.
not a faster one.
But like, so people
And
that
that's sexy.
Yeah.
Speed.
Speed. Get it done. I got things to do.
Yeah. That's sexy.
but into the orchestra pit, and then
Yeah.
people are cheering on. Oh, it's got the bassoonist. Oh, bit of fun.
He's bleeding in the neck. Fun. Throwing tips. Anyway. So
I don't know this for sure, but I assume a human could take a cheetah. Is that not right?
I think we should put it to the test. UV cheetah.
I'm going to go average cheetah weight.
Okay.
75 to 140 pounds, 34 to 64 kilos.
Yeah.
Do you think you can take it?
Yeah, I reckon.
I think you would want to be aware, like if it pounces on you from behind, you know, like
Yeah, you might be
down
stuck.
low in the
No, we're
grass.
talking-
Can we put little corks on its teeth?
No.
Okay,
But
then
I
no,
think
I
you
probably
should
can't.
face off each other in a boxing ring.
I'm
Okay,
thinking,
so it hasn't got boxing gloves on,
Yes.
so it can't quite walk properly.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I could take it.
and no biting allowed. Is it normal
That's what I
boxing
said.
rules?
I said no biting.
Yeah, no normal boxing rules.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
say yes for his rules, but not for my
but
rules.
its coach is Mike Tyson, so who knows what will happen.
Okay. Yeah.
But
no, I think I could
what
take
sort
it.
of brain capacity do they have to learn tricks like boxing?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how smart they are, but
But
they
yeah,
are
you're
fast.
you're roper doping it up. They've got no chance.
Hmm.
Oh, I do. Yeah, because they're sprinters.
They're 77 centimeters tall at the shoulder.
I'm so much taller than that.
That's bigger than I would have thought.
But I got bigger reach than them.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I reach out, they bite another arm off. And that happens for 2 times.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay, here we go. Not again.
Google knows me so well. I've Googled cheetah just to look at it, and then I've started typing, can a human, and it's autocorrected to beat a cheetah in a fight. And
yeah, your algorithm is spot on.
a fit, strong adult human who was willing to take some damage would probably defeat a cheetah.
Thank you.
They weigh about 50 kilos and are more lightly built than other big felines.
Are you willing to take some damage?
Yeah. Well, I'm playing a bassoon. I don't have a lot of choice.
Just said thank you.
Thank you.
I probably could take one. Thank you.
I thought so. Well, thought so.
Yes.
There's multiple
I'm
arms.
honking away on the bassoon, right? And all of a sudden
Which
there's a
sounds
cheetah
like
in
what?
there.
What's a bassoon sound like again? Remind me.
There's a what kind of tune do you want?
It's jazz.
Jazz. Oh, so it's about the notes
It's
you
the
don't
notes you're
play.
not playing. Exactly.
So,
play all the notes you don't want to play.
Okay, well, I'll play the ones in between those.
Yes. And now you're getting attacked by a cheetah.
Damage.
So you could have taken the bassoon out of your mouth at any point.
Yeah.
You know what? In the heat of the moment, I didn't even think of that.
Because you see the bassoon as really a part of you.
Yes, it's an extension of my lips.
Yes.
Am I thinking of the right instrument?
I believe so, yes.
I couldn't work out if it was Scooby-Doo or Mr. Bean playing the bassoon.
In the part of the bassoon, we have Rowan Atkinson.
We have a Scooby-Doo. Anyway, so...
So she's got a cheetah. Love that. So
got
cool.
a cheetah. It's attacking her musicians. It's fun. After a while, Baker was the most successful American entertainer working in France. She was a celebrity. Ernest Hemingway spent hours talking to her in Paris bars and called her the most sensational woman anyone ever saw.
Wow.
Picasso created paintings of her and her captivating beauty. She was hugely famous. In 1929, she became the first African-American star to visit Yugoslavia while on a tour of Central Europe. In Belgrade, she performed at Luxor Balkanska, the most luxurious venue in the city at the time, and she donated some of the show's proceeds to the poor children of Serbia. One of our favourite things to do is when people turn up to look at trains. She was received by adoring fans at the train station. However, some of her shows were cancelled due to opposition from the local clergy and morality police.
Oh, yeah, they're like... It was the opposite to Elvis. They're like, no straight-legged dancing.
No, okay?
You have to film her from above the rump.
You can leave the stage, but your legs must be bent.
You better bend those legs. That is ungodly.
Bend those knees.
Bend those knees God gave you.
During this trip, she was accompanied by her manager, Count Giuseppe Pepito Abatino,
Oh, my God.
who was not actually a count,
Oh, wow.
but he said he was, and the two became lovers while he was also managing her. They couldn't marry because she was still technically married to Willie Baker, but under the management of Abatino, Baker's stage and public persona, as well as her singing voice, was transformed. She released her most successful song in 1931, I Have Two Loves.
Both called Willie?
Both called Willie. The song expresses the sentiment that I have two loves, my country and Paris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Baker starred in 4 films, which found success in Europe. There was a silent film, Siren of the Tropics, Zuzu, and Princess Tam Tam, and False Alert in 1940. It's in French, but I was like, I think I can figure out what that one is. She was funny and charming and artfully clumsy, and audiences fell in love with her. So those films were 1927, 34, 35, 40. So she's like in films, you know.
She's on a hot streak.
She's on a hot streak. But despite her popularity in France, she was never really able to reach the same level of stardom in her native USA. She returned home in 1936 to star in the revival of Ziegfeld Follies on Broadway. Unfortunately, the show wasn't commercially successful and she was replaced by another actress later in the run. American critics were unkind in their reviews. Like, I couldn't read them on the podcast. Kind of unkind.
Oh, wow.
Like racial slur kind of unkind.
Oh.
And she returned to Europe heartbroken. And not long after, she gave up her American citizenship and became a legal citizen of France when she married Frenchman Jean Leon. So she's married now for the third time.
And now she released a new song, I Have One Love.
Yeah. And it's
Paris.
Paris. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in French. It sounds obviously terrible in the Australian accent, but beautiful in hers. But here's where her story takes a bit of an unexpected turn. So in September of 1939, after Germany invaded Poland, France declared war on Germany. In the Deuxième Bureau, the French military intelligence agency, recruited Baker as an honourable correspondent. She was to work with a man named Jacques Abti, the head of French counterintelligence in Paris. Abti sought to recruit people who could engage in espionage to help resistance efforts against the Nazi occupation. Baker was an ideal candidate for this work as her celebrity allowed her to move easily between countries and offered her enhanced protection. When Abti approached Josephine to see if she would take the risk and join the resistance, she said, "France made me what I am. I will be grateful forever. The people of Paris have given me everything. I am ready, Captain, to give them my life. You can use me as you wish." So she's like,
hell.
fuck yeah, Miss
in.
Pie.
Have we gone back in time again?
A little, yeah. I jumped
Okay.
ahead in terms of like some of the films she was in, and
Right.
it's all kind of
'Cause
overlapping.
I had already emotionally moved on from the end of the war.
No, we're deep in it now, babe.
We're back.
We're back in the war. I'm sorry to make you move on and then move back.
What a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So using her star power and social reputation, Baker attended parties and functions at embassies, ministries, nightclubs. She socialised with the Germans, charming them and gathering information.
Right.
So you weren't wrong when you were like, she's getting gossip. But she was getting like good goss.
Yeah.
Obviously, she went to Abdi and she was like, she was wearing this and she looked hideous.
Yeah.
She's such an autumn. But also, this is the port they're going to attack. She had useful stuff.
Can you believe it? The way that the colonel, oh my God, he is going to bomb. You wouldn't believe
You
who
wouldn't
he's going to bomb
believe.
next.
Takes a sip of her drink while they're all just to build tension.
Yeah.
Because of who she was, it was easy and not suspicious for her to be rubbing shoulders with high-profile people. From high-ranking Japanese officials to Italian bureaucrats, she'd gather information and report to Abdi what she heard. From the World War II Museum again, Josephine came to represent much of what Hitler and the Nazis despised. She was a successful black woman in an interracial marriage with a Jewish man who was also openly bisexual and had multiple long-term, semi-public relationships with other women. When the Germans began to advance on Paris in 1940, Josephine, like millions of other Parisians, fled the city. She moved to a chateau she rented in the south of France, where she took in other refugees fleeing the Nazis. So she's got chateau money, and she's like, come stay, come just hang out with me at the chateau. She housed resistance fighters at her chateau and supplied them with visas. She attended parties and diplomatic functions, including parties at the Italian embassy, that brought her in the orbit of high-ranking Axis bureaucrats. She collected information on German troop movements and what harbours or airfields were in action. Josephine was confident that her celebrity and connections would protect her and that no one would suspect her of espionage. She wrote down intelligence on her hands and arms, pinning notes inside her underwear. She did so knowing that she would never face a strip search. She's like, I'm hugely famous.
Right.
They're not going to strip search me.
But she's walking around like, it's all these post-it notes in her pants. What's going on here? It sounds like you're walking through a pile of leaves.
But would you say that to like the most famous person you'd ever seen in your life? You know?
No.
Brad Pitt walks in here, you're not going to be like, you sound funny when you walk, Brad Pitt. Take off your clothes. I'm going to search you. You're not going to say that, are you? Not like that, anyway.
No, I wouldn't.
What about but her other super secret way of taking notes is on her hand. So how many troops you got there? Just let me write this down. Nothing sus, just my
Then she
hand.
puts gloves on. Can't see it.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. But it's on her arms. It's obviously under clothing. I don't think it's in like big black permanent marker on her skin. And then she's like, yep, that'll be fine. And they're like, watch. And she's like, can you spell that for me while she writes it down?
So I just had a great idea for a new dance. I'm just going to write it on my
You
arm.
inspired me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call it 18,000 troops at midnight.
It's beautiful. The Nazis had gotten wind of the resistance activity happening at Josephine's chateau and visited the estate. Now, I can picture this in like in the film version, being very tense. you know?
Absolutely.
Josephine had been hiding several resistance fighters at the time of the visit. She successfully charmed the Nazis when they questioned her, but she took the close encounter as a sign that it was time to leave France. She managed to charm them like, don't check the house. Anyway, shall I dance?
We're okay. Thank you.
No, we'll go. Well,
Straight legging it. Oh, so actually, yeah, we've got another place to check
this
out.
chateau is haunted as shit. I'm not going in there. Anyway, so she's like, I got to get out of France. So Abti contacted General Charles de Gaulle, who we know from the airport.
Train station. I think of an airport as sort of like
it's a plane station.
It's a plane station.
Yeah.
For sky trains.
That's right. So Charles de Gaulle instructed both of them, Abti and Baker, to travel to London via Lisbon, which was neutral. Between them, the pair carried over 50 classified documents and secret intelligence.
In their underpants?
No. She carried hers by writing the information down in invisible ink on her sheet music.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
But that's pretty scary that they've got all these like classified important documents and they're sneaking information around.
It'd be so scary every time, a Nazi pulls out a lemon to squeeze on his pancakes. And you're like, oh, please don't splash on her. Please don't splash onto the notes. Please.
But again, it's on her like sheet music. You can imagine a musician being really like protective of their sheet music.
Sorry. There's nothing to hide here. I just don't want to get any of your pancake batter onto my sheet music.
Yes. But please enjoy your breakfast.
Yeah.
And did you get the invisible ink like from a did it come free with a comic book or something?
Yeah. It's the only time I've seen invisible ink.
Is she wearing
X-ray
X-ray specs? She got sea monkeys. She's got the full lot.
Just to cover it. She's like, no, I just love all this crap.
I'm a child at heart.
I love this. Later in 1941, she and her entourage went to the French colonies in North Africa. The stated reason was Baker's health. She was recovering from a case of pneumonia, which I think she'd had a few times. But the real reason was to continue helping the resistance. She continued to do this through illness, not just the pneumonia I mentioned, but also an infection that developed after a miscarriage, requiring her to undergo a hysterectomy. So she had this infection, the infection spread, and she developed peritonitis and then sepsis, so she's really unwell. Her health wavered over the coming years, but still didn't stop her. And the French, they had no organised entertainment network for their troops. You know how like there was always, wasn't it Johnny Carson always whatever?
Hope.
Bob Hope. Thank you. Bob Hope, or Captain America, was there to entertain the troops. The French didn't have like a specific organised entertainment network, so Baker and her entourage took it upon themselves. So she started touring to entertain British, French and American soldiers in North Africa.
Just at the trenches or wherever.
Yeah.
And then held out a hat.
On a hat. I've also got a QR code. Don't have cash, that's fine.
That's okay. I understand. Can't carry cash in war, but surely you're carrying PayPal.
We'll take that or Anzac Bickies.
Whatever you got. I will also accept pictures of your girl back home. But she didn't charge any admission, didn't pass around a hat, and only allowed troops to attend, no civilians or so
they got to pay.
She was there entertaining the troops. Following D-Day and the liberation of Paris, Josephine returned to her adopted city wearing a military uniform. She was awarded the Resistance Medal by the French Committee of National Liberation. I can't say that. Dave, you know French.
Oh, please don't put this on me.
I can't even turn my laptop around. Another medal.
I could say it. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, what's this one? Croix de Guerre.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Croix.
Is it?
Because there's a TISA member, Eugene Della Hot Croix Bun.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
I
Croix
think that's Croix de Guerre. I think that's about right.
By the French military. And she also got a Legion of Honor medal from Charles de Gaulle. So she's got some medals on her, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
She quickly took note of how terrible conditions were affecting many French people after the Nazi occupation. So she sold pieces of jewellery and other valuables to raise money and buy food and coal for poor citizens of Paris. So she's quite socially minded, which is nice. By this time, she was married for the fourth time to French composer and conductor Joe Bouillon. She's in her early 40s now, but she is reinvigorated post-war, and her career picks back up again in a big way. From Wiki, it says, bolstered by recognition of her wartime heroism, Baker, the performer, assumed a new gravitas, unafraid to take on serious music or subject matter. The engagement was a rousing success and re-established Baker as one of Paris's preeminent entertainers. In 1951, she was invited back to the US for a nightclub engagement in Miami. After winning a public battle over desegregating the club's audience, Baker followed up her sold-out run at the club with a national tour. Rave reviews and enthusiastic audiences accompanied her everywhere. So she's finally getting some success in the States.
Right.
The National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People granted her the title Woman of the Year, which is huge as well.
Ah.
Because she gets sort of right into the civil rights movement too.
Many years later, of course, in Australia, Sportswoman of the Year
Sportswoman of the Year.
was won by the horse Black Caviar.
Yeah, we gave Sportswoman of the Year to a horse.
Slightly controversial.
Beautiful stuff.
Well, we're... As a country, I think we're pretty cool.
I think we are pretty cool.
I think we're pretty cool, okay?
Given that her previous shows and film roles had given her nothing but criticism, this successful tour is a huge deal. But it was a little short-lived. During that trip to the US, she and her husband Joe were refused reservations at 36 New York City hotels because of racial discrimination.
Whoa.
36 different hotels refused them. She was like this huge star. Not that that should change anything, but you'd think you do see examples sometimes of them turning a bit of a blind eye in that case when it's like somebody who's famous or rich, but not the case. Enraged by this treatment, she wrote articles about the segregation in the US. She refused to perform for a segregated audience. That Miami club offered her $10,000 to do so, and she refused, and they eventually gave in to her demands. And there was a bit of a ripple effect. Her insistence on mixed audiences helped to integrate live entertainment shows in other parts of the country as well. So yeah, she's kind of like, she's been living in Paris where there isn't segregation and, she's treated like a person. And then she goes back to the US and is racially discriminated against and audiences are segregated. And she's like, the fuck is this? Which I can understand would be a real weird sort of 180. However, after this incident, it got a lot of press. She began receiving threatening phone calls from people claiming to be from the KKK. But she said publicly she was not afraid of them, which is also pretty ballsy.
That's badass. She's like, I went up against the freaking Nazis.
She's like, I don't give a shit about the Ku Klux Klan.
When they were like in charge of the country that I was living in.
Yeah. She's like, whatever.
I'm badass.
She's pretty badass. So also in 51, this is all when she's in the US, there was a Manhattan nightclub, the Stork Club, which apparently she was at and they refused service. And she sort of openly criticized them for their unwritten policy of discouraging black patrons. Apparently, Grace Kelly was there when that happened and like went over to Josephine Baker and took her and was like, I'm never coming back here, and left as well. And then those two became lifelong friends.
Oh, cool.
Princess Grace. Although apparently
Grace.
on Wikipedia it said she did go back like 5 years later, so she lied. So I'll never trust Princess Grace again.
I thought Princess Grace's word was her bond.
Apparently not.
But she's just yet another windbag. She is full of... I don't like swearing, but she's full of crap.
Matthew.
Sorry.
That's a princess you're talking about.
Well...
A long dead princess.
Yeah. Sound more Princess of Monaco, more like Princess of Bullshit.
Whoa!
He said it.
Maddie.
I'm sorry.
I've never seen you so worked up before.
I'm sorry, but I just think if you say you're never going back to the
Stork Club,
then you don't go back to the
you
Stork Club.
don't go back to the Stork Club.
Now, is this spelled S-T-A-L-K?
No, S-T-O-R-K.
Okay.
O-R-K.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Should we all commit on this podcast right now that I am never going back to the Stork Club?
I won't commit to that because I have a dog shit memory and I'll forget. And what if I accidentally go to the Stork Club?
Yeah, right. And you'll be papped. We've got you.
I know. And then they're like, Jess, we have you on the record saying, and I'm like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, never say never.
I don't think I can be held accountable for anything I say on this podcast.
Because
I don't remember it the second we turn off the microphones.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say I'll never go back there. What if someone kidnaps me
and takes you there?
Puts a Hessian sack on my head and dumps me at the Stork Club?
What if you want a drink and it's the only place?
Yeah, what if I'm really thirsty? What if there's a cool event on
And I'm invited.
or I somehow find myself there?
Am I not to go?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Come on.
So,
Grow
Dave,
up.
I don't think you can possibly ask that of us.
But Dave has said it on record. So
Dave
you
will
can
be
wait out
going.
the front for us.
I will never go to this club that shut down in 1965. I'm on the record.
Okay.
Oh, the
okay.
Stork Club never got to see the Saints win their one and only premiership the next year.
That is sad.
Sorry.
That is sad.
Poor bastards.
So anyway, she's had this incident at the Stork Club. She is like really publicly criticizing them for it. And then she called out Walter Winchell, who was a former vaudeville performer and now a columnist. I think he was a bit of a gossip columnist, for not sort of coming to her defense. And he retaliated with a series of rebukes and an accusation of communist sympathies, which at the time, massive deal. That's a big claim. That's a career ruiner right there. So the ensuing publicity resulted in the termination of Baker's work visa, because remember, she's given up her American citizenship, so she's there on a work visa now. So it forced her to cancel all of her engagements and return to France. And it was almost a decade before the US officials allowed her back into the country.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Because of a gossip columnist.
Saying she has communist sympathies. They're like, get out.
Is it like it's just the witch trial stuff?
Yeah.
All over again, right? And you just say, I heard they were
100%. That seems to have happened a lot around
Goody
that time.
Baker, communist,
Yep.
commie.
More like
I said
Commie
it.
Baker.
Yeah.
Commie.
Let's throw her in the river. If she floats, she's a commie.
If she sinks, still a commie.
She's a dead commie.
She's a dead commie. The
She's
best
a
kind of commie.
Yeah.
Yeah, really strange. So she's thrown out, but she really threw herself at the whole civil rights movement. She was really angered by the treatment she received in the US. This is a quote from Wikipedia. As the decorated war hero who was bolstered by the racial equality she experienced in Europe, Baker became increasingly regarded as controversial. Some black people even began to shun her, fearing that her outspokenness and racy reputation from her earlier years would hurt the cause. But she's just like, I don't give a fuck. I've experienced the opposite. Like, I get treated like a person in Europe. And she just kept standing up against this racial segregation, against everything. In 1963, she spoke at the March on Washington at the side of Martin Luther King Jr. Not everyone involved wanted Baker present at the march. Some thought her time overseas had made her a woman of France, one who was disconnected from the civil rights issues going on in America. In her speech, one of the things she said was, I have walked into the palaces of kings and queens and into the houses of presidents and much more, but I could not walk into a hotel in America and get a cup of coffee, and that made me mad. And when I get mad, you know that I open my big mouth, and then look out, because when Josephine opens her mouth, they'll hear about it all over the world. So she's pissed off. She's
like a real life Forrest Gump. She's just walking through the pages of history.
Yes.
This story's wild. So, she was next to Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
In 1963. What?
Yeah.
She was there with the Nazis. What, against the Nazis, I should say.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Isn't it wild?
She was in Paris in the Jazz Age.
Yeah.
You hang out with Hemingway and Picasso.
Yeah,
She's like one of the most famous people in Paris.
Incredible.
Amazing.
I can't believe this story. Has there been a big budget movie made about her?
Oh, she's been the subject of quite a few TV shows, movies, all sorts of stuff. I don't know if I've seen anything huge.
Jess. I want a big budget.
I don't think I've seen anything
I
big
want
budget
Tom
yet.
Hanks to play her.
God, yes. God, he'd do a good job.
He would do a good job, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would just capture her essence.
I don't think there are many that could pull off Josephine Baker.
No.
But I think Hanks is one.
I think
Get Hanks on the line. We got a role of a lifetime.
send him a typewriter. He loves those.
He loves typewriters.
Apparently, after Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, you'll find this wild, Matt, considering what you were just saying. His widow, Coretta Scott King, approached Baker in the Netherlands to ask if she would take her husband's place as leader of the civil rights movement. And after many days of thinking it over, Baker declined, saying her children were too young to lose their mother. So she's like, I would love to, I'm honoured, but I can't lead the civil rights movement in America.
I have a table tennis tournament.
Especially when it would be hard as well, because she's like, and many of the people inside the movement
do
thought
not like
I was
me.
out of touch with the movement. So it would be a hard thing,
tough one.
a hard thing to lead, perhaps.
Yeah.
From that position,
I know.
especially if you're also trying to look after a couple of bloody little rugrats.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you might be thinking, children?
I was thinking that.
Yes, I know. I'm in your head. I'm in your head.
I thought that, but I also thought, I obviously zoned out for a moment there.
No. During her participation in the civil rights movement, Baker began to adopt children, forming a family which she often referred to as the Rainbow Tribe. She wanted to prove that children of different ethnicities and religions could still be brothers. And that part sounds kind of nice, but parts of this feel very off. So,
okay.
See how you go with this.
Right, yeah, the headline sounded good.
Well, from Wikipedia, she often took the children with her cross-country, and when they were at the chateau, she arranged tours so visitors could walk around the grounds and see how natural and happy the children were in the Rainbow Tribe.
Oh, she had a human zoo.
Her estate featured hotels, a farm, rides, and the children singing and dancing for the audience. She charged an admission fee to visitors who entered and partook in the activities, which included watching the children play.
It's a small world.
That's a bit weird.
After all. Oh, that's really.
It's tricky because
it's creepy, isn't it?
We're just saying, like, what an impressive person.
Yes.
What a way to live life. Wow. And then you're like, oh, that's a bit crook.
Charging admission is the thing that probably pushes it over the edge. It's like,
Yeah.
everyone's welcome, we'll just have an open house here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you wouldn't say, and come and observe the children.
Yeah.
They'd just be there.
And
But
living their life, but she'd be like, there's the free range paddock
Yes.
over here.
Yeah.
See, behind the bars here, that's our savannah where we let the children run free. And I thought you were going to say, it got a bit weird. She took the rainbow thing literally and painted each child green, red, yellow, indigo.
But instead, she's there like handing out bags of bread, saying, "You can feed the children.
Yeah.
You can. Just don't get too close.
Yes.
They might bite your hand."
Just, a closed fist at first. Let them sniff you. She created dramatic backstories for the children.
What?
She also raised them in different religions in order to further her model for the world, taking 2 children from Algeria and raising one child as a Muslim and the other as a Catholic. One member of the tribe, Jean-Claude Baker, said she wanted a doll. Essentially, she wants dolls. She's kind of forgetting these
That was one of her
these are
children
people.
said that.
Yeah. So a bit strange. In total, she raised 13 children, 2 daughters, French-born Marianne and Moroccan-born Stelina, and 11 sons, Japanese-born Jeannot and Akio, Colombian-born Louis, Finnish-born Jari, French-born Jean-Claude, Noel and Moise, Algerian-born Brahim, Ivorian-born Kofi, and Venezuelan-born Mara. Later on, she would become the legal guardian of another boy also named Jean-Claude and considered him an unofficial addition to the Rainbow Tribe. So I include him in that as well.
So you're unofficial Jean-Claude.
They have 2 Jean-Claudes.
Okay, you're a standby Jean-Claude.
Oh,
And she's got them from all different places around the world.
Understudy Jean-Claude.
understudy. Yeah, the heir and the spare Jean-Claude.
Yeah. Air in the spare.
Air and the spare. That's a little strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, it was all just ticks until this point, wasn't it? Wow, what an awesome
It was
person.
Tessa?
Ticks. All
Ticks.
ticks.
Like-
Ticks.
This is the
Sorry.
first cross.
Yeah,
All pros,
yeah.
no cons.
incredible. Sorry, the human farm.
But I couldn't not mention it, could
Of
I?
course not. No,
Because then everybody who suggested it would be like, what the why didn't you mention the Rainbow Tribe of
It
kids?
sounds like she's lost her mind.
It sounds like it sort of started from a good place, but then it went a bit sideways. I also did read, and I left it out, but I did read at one point, one of them, when it was about 15, came out as gay, and she kicked him out and made him go live with her now ex-husband. But she was bi. Like,
I think she learned a lot from being persecuted through her whole life.
yeah, she's like, no, that's different.
is it because it wasn't the storyline for that
Yeah,
quote unquote
maybe.
character?
I've written you an
Maybe.
arc.
Yeah. Sorry,
This isn't in it.
You'll become this isn't it. You'll be coming back. This is redemption.
Yes.
You'll be coming back.
Jean-Claude too. He's gay.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Because, like you say, possibly a good place. I've obviously no idea. I haven't done any of the research, but is she trying to show the world that everyone can live together, everyone can get along?
That seems like the kind of vibe, yes.
But it is strange
But
to
also,
have.
don't be gay.
Yeah. Also, do not be gay because I haven't decided that for you, and I've picked your religion. I've picked your religion.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You're this person now, and then also people pay to see you. It is a bit, I don't know, off.
And I did read that, like, in an interview in, like, 2003 or something, Angelina Jolie kind of credited Josephine Baker because Angelina Jolie
They say the rainbow. Yeah, she says
has adopted
a rainbow family. I've seen someone say that. Maybe.
Yeah, something
That's
like
what I thought when you said rainbow family. I'm like, oh, that's like Jolie.
Exactly. And so she said, but it's tricky because, I mean, it's not a bad thing to give a home to somebody who needs a home, but
to collect them from around the world
and to charge admission.
Yeah.
And I think you could achieve what you wanted to achieve there without like making it such a spectacle. I think just by living your life with your children of many ethnicities all seeing each other as their own family.
Which is more of the Jolie method, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think she charges admission.
I don't think so, but I haven't checked recently.
But yeah, no, I don't know, but it does also feels like just like particularly going around the world and taking kids away from not only their local neighborhoods, but their whole country.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, let's see how you go in this public zoo.
Yeah. A bit strange, but
who
fascinating and weird.
Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
You know?
Just because you adopt local
yeah.
doesn't mean everybody else.
Yeah, it's a rescue.
How old? He's 6. Came with a name. Can't change it.
Yeah. Keith. It's a Dachshund.
In her later years, Baker was in a bit of financial strife. She lost the chateau due to unpaid debts, and her close friend, Princess Grace of Monaco, let her live in an apartment that she owned in southeastern France. Beautiful. She was back on stage at the Olympia in Paris in 1968, and then at Carnegie Hall in 73, and at the Royal Variety Performance at the London Palladium in Paris 1974. So she's like in the 60s and 70s, she's back. She starred in a retrospective review at the Babino in Paris, celebrating her 50 years in show business. The review, financed by Prince Rainer, Princess Grace, and Jackie Onassis, opened to rave reviews.
Wow, incredible financiers
right?
there.
Mm-hmm.
Demand for seating was such that fold-out chairs had to be added to accommodate spectators. Like, she was massive. The opening night audience included Sophia Loren, Mick Jagger, Shirley Bassey, Diana Ross, and Liza Minnelli.
Holy
all
shit.
went to see her. Crazy. So that was in 75. And so,
how old was she in her 70s?
Yeah. 68?
It was only
Late
her
60s?
50 years in entertainment, so she's 52.
Yeah, 50. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Celebrating 50 years. Also her 50th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's
But she's not even 70, and it's her 50 years in showbiz.
That's incredible.
Crazy, right? So, yeah, opening night, that's a huge lineup of people going to see her. They cannot fit everybody in. That many people want to come see the show. 4 days later, Baker was found lying peacefully in her bed, surrounded by newspapers with glowing reviews of her performance. She was in a coma after suffering a cerebral hemorrhage, and she was taken to hospital where she died aged 68 on April 12, 1975.
Wow.
that's sad. And, well, actually, it sounds like not a bad way to go.
Sounds
Is
kind
that
of-
a painful way to go? I don't know.
But you know what they say? Never read the reviews.
That's right.
but I
They can
kind
be
of-
deadly.
I kind of
Even
like
good
that
ones.
she
Yeah,
was found surrounded by
That is
praise.
nice.
Like,
Yeah.
that feels her, you
Yeah.
know?
And also that she finally,
Yes.
she obviously had a lot of praise, but also had negative and criticism that was unfounded and racist.
Yeah.
So it's nice that
She sort of had this huge show where a lot of people wanted to see her.
Yes.
Some of the most famous people in the world wanted to see her and were there at her show. People that credit her with inspiring them. And then she just dies surrounded by praise.
If you listed the different things she saw in her life and the things she achieved, I would have said, probably died at 140,
Yeah.
150.
68.
Yeah, 68.
But
That's
that's the
redonk.
thing. If you do that much in life, you don't need to live to 140.
No, you squeeze it
She's
in.
done.
Just squeezing it all in.
It's amazing.
That's why I'm going to live a long life.
I need to.
I'm spreading it out.
Yeah, you are getting nothing done.
Mick Jagger's not come to a single one of my shows, as far as I know.
You'd know.
Oh, you'd know.
Prancing about.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm here.
I think he
Not
got some of his
funny.
dance styles from her. Oh, geez. He started off at the end of a chorus line as well. People are like, maybe you should, Mick, sorry, Mick. Maybe you should start your own
You
thing.
be a front man. Your ass is too high in the air.
That's too high. You got to stop. So yeah, sadly all good things must come to an end. But someone with such a varied and successful career, who also did so much for others, is bound to leave behind quite a legacy. Writing in the online BBC magazine in late 2014, Darren Royston, historical dance teacher at RADA, credited Baker with being the Beyoncé of her day and bringing the Charleston to Britain.
Oh, Dave, you mentioned the Charleston earlier.
Yeah. Not on pod.
I believe that was on a different podcast. But yeah. I was thinking, going back.
But you did mention it, and my little brain went,
Oh, I know this is coming
Have
up.
I got something about the Charleston for you? Two of Baker's sons, Jean-Claude and Jari, grew up to go into business together, running the restaurant Chez Josephine in New York City.
Any relation?
Yes. It celebrates Baker's life and work, which is nice. The chateau where she lived and raised her children is open to the public and displays her stage outfits, including her banana skirt, which apparently there are actually several of. It also displays many family photos and documents, as well as her Legion of Honor medal.
Well, I'll never go there. Not as long as Princess Grace is still alive.
She's dead.
Okay, great. Let's go.
Let's go to the chateau. In May 2021, an online petition was set up asking that Josephine Baker be honoured by being reburied at the Pantheon in Paris, or be granted the Pantheon honours, which would make her only the sixth woman at the mausoleum. So that was in May. In August of that year, 2021, French President Emmanuel Macron announced that Baker's remains would be reburied at the Pantheon in November that year, following the petition and continued request from Baker's family.
Wow, that's quite an honour. And at 6 women sounds like a low number, but people got to remember that women don't naturally grow in France.
That's right.
So they're all imports from other countries.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that, but yeah,
I genuinely think Marie Curie is buried there, and she was Polish.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's no.
I could be wrong.
Women
but I think that's right.
Can't be born in France.
They can't.
It's like, like with chickens, the certain heat on the eggs.
Yeah.
Will make it a male or a female.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
The climate in France means only boys are born.
Only boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to have a girl, you got to leave France.
Yeah, you got to leave France, I'm afraid. Cross over the border, go to Monaco. Hang out with that dog Grace.
That disloyal friend. So yeah, they essentially, it was like a symbolic casket. They're like, we're not going to totally rebury her there, but they buried a casket that contained soil from various locations where she'd lived. So St. Louis, Paris, south of France, and Monaco.
Oh, so she's not in the box. It's just dirt.
Yeah.
Is there any greater honour than having some dirt in a box buried?
I think it's beautiful.
For you?
There's probably a plaque too. That's nice.
That is nice.
I wouldn't say no to a plaque.
Yeah, I'd take a plaque.
But so they did that, and she became the first black woman to be honoured in the secular temple to the great men of the French Republic. So only the sixth woman, first black woman. Pretty cool. She's been the subject or inspiration for countless film, TV shows, documentaries, stage performances, books, poems, songs, and pieces of art. And I can't believe I hadn't heard of her.
Yeah.
Which is wild. So Kristen D. Burton sums it up nicely, I think. Far more than a vaudeville dancer and a jazz singer, Josephine Baker was a force of nature who vaulted racial barriers of the era and achieved the highest level of celebrity. Her status became a shield behind which she could fight the horrors of the Nazi regime. Fearless and outspoken, Josephine found new ways to challenge those who sought to diminish or silence the suffering or oppressed. In strengthening her own voice, she found innumerable ways to both charm and resist. How cool is that?
So cool.
What a life.
Incredible life.
Josephine Baker, the showgirl spy. Maybe that's what I'll call it. That's pretty cool.
One of the most incredible life stories I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm actually glad that she was a weird human zookeeper in the end, because for a while there I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
Josephine, save some for the rest of us.
Yeah, give me something.
Yeah.
Give me something to feel better than
I'm like,
you
okay,
about.
well, I've never done that.
Well, whereas through the rest of the report, you're like, I've never done that.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never done that. And then that one, you're like, well, I've never done that. And there's a difference, an
Yes.
important difference.
Mm.
So yeah, there you go. That's the story of Josephine Baker. Thank you to everybody who suggested that topic.
That has to be up there with one of the most suggested topics. Still in the hat, do you think?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. And it I did put it up to the vote, and it quite clearly won very early on. People were like, "This sounds great." So, it probably came from. I remember a little while ago being like, It's a bit of a dude fest in the suggestion. So if you know a story of like a pretty badass lady, let us know. And I think a lot of these people did, because some of these suggestions go back for a while.
Yeah, and anyone can suggest a topic at any time. Do go on pod.com. There's a little thing that says suggest a topic. If you scroll down, click that, tell us why we should do it, and we'll probably get to it.
Yeah.
And there's a drop-down category selector as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I should add a new one, woman.
That would be good. Yeah.
It'll help us find women in the hat.
Woman.
What category should I put on her? Woman.
So I feel like doing a biography this week. No, maybe I feel like doing some sort of event. No, woman. So yeah, pretty great story. There you go.
Loved it.
What a report, Jess. I loved it from minute to end.
From minute to
From
end?
minute to end. The first minute didn't like, but from the minute mark to the end,
Yeah.
loved it.
And most of that first minute was Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's intro.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Fair cop.
So that was a huge bit of praise for me, and I appreciate that.
But now it is time to move on. Okay, Jess?
Okay, Dave.
And Dave, let's stop sitting here.
Stop it.
I haven't spoken for an hour and a half because I just thought I really fucked up that first minute. I sounded like an idiot.
Yes,
So
you did.
Why'd I say that?
We spend about half an hour at the end of the show, sometimes up to 40 minutes, sometimes down to 20 minutes. What? Who's to know how
feel
efficient
like
we can
already,
be? We're hitting a 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a stop the clock.
Oh, we're hitting a 40.
But we start and end and middle
Jesus
by
Christ.
thanking some of our great supporters. And if you want to be one of these supporters, go to patreon.com/dogoonpod. Bunch of different levels. Just what are some of the things you can get involved with there?
You can get a Christmas card once a year, not all the time. You can get access to bonus episodes, 3 bonus episodes a month. You get into the Facebook group, the kindest corner of the internet.
We love it.
Early access to tickets for live shows and all sorts of fun stuff that we do. And yeah, it's just a beautiful place, a beautiful way to support the show.
So beautiful. And the first thing we do is for the people who sign up on the Sydney Scheinberg level or above.
Yes.
We get to give them a fact, a quote, or a question. No, they give them to us. Forget what I just said. They give them to us. We don't give them to them.
Yep.
And they also get to give themselves a title, and I read them out for the first time on the episode. So you'll be listening to me going, geez, it sounds like he's rehearsed this. Well, I haven't.
He's
I'm
just that good.
And this week, to kick us off, we have a jingle. I think the section of the show has a jingle goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
Always remembers
Wow.
the ding. She always remembers the sing. Thanks for clearing your throat there, Jess. I don't know if you realise that, but that actually jogged my memory.
Oh, no, I was
Yeah.
just preparing to do the jingle.
Oh, well, there you go. The first one this week comes from Andriana Ginaldi.
You've absolutely nailed that.
Absolutely. It's
No
that-
notes.
Yeah, and it does sound like you've roast.
Well, it's only because I would have said Andriana Ginaldi, but it says after that in brackets, the A's are pronounced like as in, yes, I see that you know your judo well.
Yes.
Oh, if you could make
Andriana.
everything to do like in life,
Yeah.
like compare it to that video, I'd be a lot happier.
There was a period of time, and it was while we were touring, that any yes from any of us was an yes.
yes.
Do you want to go get coffee? Yes.
And Andriana's title is Junior Cat Herder. Andriana is asking a question as well, writing, it's starting to get colder, I am, and that means it's soup season.
Yes. That's really tickled you,
There's
isn't it?
like a date circled on the calendar and it says
Oh.
first soup of the season.
Soup season.
What is your favourite type of soup to have on a cold day? And Andriana has done what I always ask. If you ask a question, please answer it yourself. And Andriana
Yes.
has done that. So I'll read Andriana's answer first.
Favourite soup?
I'm a fan of the Italian wedding soup.
Oh.
If I want a soup to be the main dish and of butternut squash soup as a side.
Italian
What does that
weddings.
mean?
Oh my God, it came up immediately.
The problem with it is, how many Italian weddings do you get invited to?
Green vegetables and meat in chicken broth, apparently.
It does look good on the images I'm looking at.
Yeah.
My favourite, I think, is probably the butternut squash soup. I just call it pumpkin soup.
Yep.
I just love a creamy pumpkin soup.
Delicious.
Oh my
With some
Gosh.
buttered toast
Oh, yes.
on a cold day.
Yep.
It's been my favourite since I was a kid. My taste buds have not matured since.
Yeah, I still go for like a can of tomato soup.
I still can't handle tomato soup. Always
Too
was
acidic?
I thought too sweet, but maybe
Yeah.
it is acidic. But there was something as a kid I just couldn't get around it.
I
Because
just
I
think-
love tomatoes in every other form.
Yeah.
I think it's great the first spoonful, but it's just exactly that over and over again
100%,
for me.
yes, agree.
Pumpkin
Okay.
soup.
No, tomato.
Oh, tomato soup.
I love pumpkin. But my favourite soup, growing up, legendary in my family, my grandma would make what we called green soup, which was broccoli soup.
Okay.
And I didn't love eating vegetables as a child, but this somehow
Yeah.
pureed it.
Yum.
Probably because of the esophagus issues that we were undiagnosed at that stage. But
Yeah.
it's mostly broccoli, but then also a bit of potato and a bit of carrot
Oh, yeah.
boiled down. A
Bit-
bit of stock
Just give
in
it
there.
a bit of oomph.
Yeah, and it is so good.
Yum.
I imagine also part of it would have just been the association with
Yeah.
dear grandmama.
Exactly.
It's funny, you know what the other main ingredient was? Love.
Love. And she lived in the country about 4 hours away, so we only maybe went up there 2 or 3 times a year.
Yep.
She came down maybe a couple of times. So it was only, a few times a year that we'd be getting it. So it was ultra special, and I can just look back and taste it.
And you know what the other secret ingredient was? Rum.
You were drunk.
Thank you so much, Adrian. No. Next one comes from Jacoby Austin DeAngel, who's given himself the title of Asker of the Same Question. Third time's a charm.
Oh.
Not the charm either. A charm.
Oh, we're going to finally get Jess's answer to this question?
Oh my
What do you
God.
mean?
Yes, we've been asked this twice. You know how you always bail on us before this section of the show, like you're never here?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, 2 of the times that's happened, this question's been asked, and you specialise in it. So
Yeah, you're the expert.
Jacoby's gone for one
Oh my
more
God.
time. And
Jacoby, I'm so sorry.
We couldn't believe the second time that you went here again because we said, please ask this again. We'll get Jess and then we'll know.
yeah.
And then you went
I have to go. So
Well, I think you would be good at answering this. Jacoby writes,
I'm good at answering anything.
when I noticed that Jess was gone for episode 420, blaze it, I quietly thought to myself, wouldn't it be funny if this is when my fat quota question, which I resent weeks earlier in the hope she'd be there to answer it, was read out? And in some ironic twist, that's exactly what happened. So I'm writing the same FQQ, hoping that Jess is there to answer this time around. My question is, which Parks and Rec character are you?
Oh,
And which are all of us. We tried to have a go.
great.
Matt and I have seen a bit of it, but not enough to know all the
Oh,
characters.
fantastic. Okay.
So we were like, please, Jess, just tell us who we are.
Great.
Do you remember who you thought you might be? Because don't tell her. See if we're right.
Yeah, I think someone maybe in the Facebook group maybe gave us assigned us names,
Oh.
but I've forgotten them already.
I didn't see that. Okay, great. Was 420 the one where I got hit by a car?
Yes, it was. It was the Men in Black episode with Alistair Trauma.
So I hope you feel pretty bad.
Well, no, I just think you got to stop blazing it, Bob.
Yeah, before
while
I get on a bike.
rising and riding.
Okay. Well, I'm Leslie. I'm a Leslie Nope. Pretty much 100%.
I think we got that.
Yeah.
I think that was because that was the only name we knew.
I have been I just finished watching it again, and yeah, there are so many Leslie Nope scenes where my partner just sort of goes, "That's you." I'm like, "Shut up, I know." But I might have to do combos for you two,
Okay.
because I think, Dave, I think you're a bit of a Chris Traeger, but also potentially a bit of a Tom.
Chris Traeger is Rob Lowe.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
I've got the characters in front of me.
I'm like,
I would have been like,
this
who's
is
Chris?
meaning
And
nothing.
who else?
Tom Aziz Ansari.
Oh, okay. I think that we
Yeah.
said that I was Ben the nerdy one.
Nah, you wish you were fucking Ben.
Who's Ben?
Fuck, I love
Adam
Ben.
Scott?
Adam Scott.
Isn't he like the super uptight, boring one?
Okay. Tell me you haven't actually seen the show. Yeah, he is uptight. He's tightly wound. He's not boring. He's a bit of a dork. I guess you could be a Ben.
Okay, coming around to it. No, but I'm happy to.
But I mean it as a. I mean Chris Traeger is
ultra pleasant.
incredibly polite. Like he's like super positive.
Yeah. Okay, I'm loving that. Yeah.
He's great. Like he doesn't need a lot of therapy though. Maybe you're a Ben. But Tom,
What
I don't
elements of Tom is this Ansari's character?
Tom is like one of my least favorite characters.
And that's why you see.
That's why I see it. No, but I think he is an entrepreneur. He is like, nah, you're not Tom. Maybe you are a Ben, but there's someone else in there too. And you're a Ben and a Jerry. You're Ben and Jerry.
There's a Ben and Jerry on there.
Yeah.
This is because of the ice cream.
So the long running joke with Jerry is that anything he does, everybody like teases him for it, or like they get mad at him for doing his job, or like he does something well and they yell at him. He does something badly, they laugh at him.
His name's not even Jerry, is that right?
That's right. But he has a smoking hot wife, and he has like this.
This is sounding like Dave.
I think part of why it's funny, or part of why you don't feel bad as an audience member laughing along with this joke, is that Jerry's life is fantastic. Like, he has a beautiful family. He loves his wife. He has like, so it's all kind of, it's water off a duck's back to him because he is a very complete person. So you're a Ben and you're a Jerry. Matt.
Okay. See a Jerry and a Ben.
Matt's true. No, Matt is definitely not a Ben. But he's not a Ron.
No, because Ron's got a lot of practical skills.
And you're not as dumb as Andy.
Tricky.
But you are very dry and kind of low, like I say this with love, lowish energy. So you might be a bit of an April.
Is she...
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. I think you could be.
I've got big, beautiful eyes.
Oh, yeah, you're beautiful. I think you could be. I think you're a bit of an April and an Andy.
April, Andy.
Chris Pratt. They're husband and wife, and like they're complete opposites.
Child.
You're their child. You're Jack,
I'm the worst
their
of
child.
both of this.
Yeah, you're the best of both of them.
Oh, best of both of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because Andy is like, he's dumb, and I don't think you're dumb, but Andy is also like super loyal and like a lot of fun, and yeah. So I reckon you're an April and an Andy, and I'm just a straight up Leslie.
Wow, there's a list of characters I've got here. One of them is just John Cena. Does he just play himself?
Well, Dave, so Jess nearly ran him over.
Yeah, I did.
That's true. Do you see me as a cross between John Cena and anyone?
When the fuck is John Cena in it?
I don't know.
Anyway, I got lost in that.
That's great.
I'm going to keep thinking about that because I don't know if I've 100% nailed it, but I am a Leslie and maybe an Anne, but they're just best friends. I am an intense best friend.
Yes. Let me just double check. Did Jacoby answer this question?
And I can answer your question. John Cena was in season 7.
When?
Jacoby says, if she's gone again, I'll take it as a sign and change gears for my next fact quota question. I will say Dave is definitely Ben, Adam Scott's character, but I would suggest that Matt is closer to Eagleton Ron. What does that mean?
That's not bad. So, Pawnee and its rival town, Eagleton, join and they have a merger, and there is another...
Like a bizarro Ron.
Kind of, but like the two sort of parks departments have to come together and they have to decide who they keep, who goes. And there's the leader of that parks department is Ron. And initially... Pawnee Ron is like, oh, good, I like this guy. But then it turns out he's a bit of a hippie and Ron really hates him.
Right.
Like he's really like positive and like he doesn't get his hair cut. His hair just sort of falls off when it's ready and stuff like that. Like
falls off.
Yeah, it's really stupid and really funny.
I love it. Oh, cheers, Jacoby. I'm glad we finally got that question to Jess.
Did Jacoby say who I was? Leslie?
No, he didn't say, but I guess... Hang on, did he say? No, he didn't. But I think everyone just agrees you're Leslie.
Yeah.
It's not even up for discussion.
John Cena is in the episode that I always skip. That's why.
Yep.
That's why I forgot he's in it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like it's an episode within the series. Like it's by that stage, Andy has his own TV show called the Johnny Karate Show, and it's an entire episode of the Johnny Karate Show. And I usually don't watch it.
Oh right.
I skip over it.
But it's meant to be a good episode, right? But you don't need to watch it over and over.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one comes from Sky. With the title of Just a Weird Little Person.
Okay.
And Sky asks a question writing, hello, Jess, Matt, and David Zest.
Yes.
Yes. I'm afraid I have rebranded as David Coupe, though.
Please address me accordingly.
David Coupe, drive away, no more to pay. The question is, what is your silliest tattoo? And if you don't have a weird one, what's your favourite? But Sky does answer their own question saying, my dumbest one is LXIX on my right forearm. LXIX is 69 in Roman numerals.
Nice.
That's funny.
My favourite is a skull mandala.
Ooh.
Also on my right forearm. Am I saying mandala right?
Yeah.
All right, I can answer this. Dave's is his zebra keyboard.
It's his only tattoo.
Yes, because that's my favourite and worst.
Yeah.
And stupidest. Is that the question? Was it stupid?
Yeah, I think so.
Silliest, I think.
Silliest.
A
Yeah.
nicer way of saying
It is whimsical,
stupid.
it is silly, and it is my only one. So it's my favourite. George.
And what about you, Bob?
Well, I would argue that most tattoos are a bit silly. I think any really sincere tattoo, it then goes into silly anyway. I think the worst one is my first one, which is the thing on my the rewind sign on my wrist, just because it's too thick. She said that's the thinnest needle you can do, and I've since had much thinner tattoos done.
Technology's come on.
Hasn't it just?
Since the olden days when you got that done, Grandma.
Yeah. And I've got a Paul Kelly quote on my arm, and I just have to cross my fingers he never gets cancelled, because that'll be so awkward.
Yep.
But you have the silliest one.
Which one? Oh,
The more recent one, I think, is sillier.
Beer can.
In a good way.
Beer can cowboy.
Yeah. You got to be a cat cowboy. That
Pretty
rules.
silly. But designed by Mr. Heggie. And I got it during the filming of the second season of Beer Pioneer, which hasn't come out, but I think it's being edited at the moment.
Ah.
Long process, that
Yeah.
one.
Because I feel like you've had that tat for a while.
Did I film that last year? I can't even remember. I think it was last year, probably about a year ago.
Wow.
Or even more.
How many episodes? It must be hundreds.
I think it's going to be 10 episodes, maybe.
Hundreds of episodes?
Yes. So, yeah, I guess that is. And my other one's pretty silly as well. It's flames on my leg.
They're all silly.
Yeah, they're all pretty silly.
All tattoos are silly.
But I mean, 69 in Roman numerals
That's
is.
that's a level of silly I can get around.
Love it. I the moment that they thought of it,
Yeah.
that's a funny moment.
My old mate, Arnie, he was bored one day at school. So he went out and got left and right tattooed under his feet.
Oh,
On the foot.
On the sole of his feet.
Oh, apparently that kills.
Yeah, but it's the most painful, but also it's where they wear away from quicker. So he's like, it's no, it doesn't really matter. It's like, well, why are we doing it then?
Why do it if it's excrucitingly painful and it won't last?
And he
No
came-
one can see it.
Yeah.
I liked it about it, but
Did he
yeah.
come back to class and was like, check this
Yeah,
out?
limping in. I thought it was a bit of
That
fun.
hurt.
Pretty silly.
And what can I confirm was left on left?
Left on left.
Oh, good, because it would have been funny to do the other way around.
Or two lefts.
You know what I'm like. The last one this week comes from Matthew Abad, pronounced Abad. Oh, nailed it. And Matthew's title is The One Mama Jamma Who Dares to Be Good. And it's a quote.
Oh, we love a quote.
This quote comes from Stephen King's IT. How did you do a movie about computers? And it is, you can't be careful on a skateboard, man.
Far out.
This quote
That makes you think.
This quote is spoken by a child to a 39-year-old man. It's a bit of a thematic reminder that life can sometimes be unpredictable and even scary. But that's the life that's worth living. Being in my 30s myself, I remind myself of this quote so I can hopefully never grow out of getting uncareful from time to time. So to all you doogies out there, remember, you can't be careful on a skateboard, man. I love it. I reckon that's a tattoo ready to go, Matthew.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bad.
Thank you so much to Matthew, Sky, Jacoby, and Andriana for those fantastic facts, quotes, and questions. The other thing we like to do is shout out to a few of our other fantastic Patreon supporters. Jess, you normally come up with a bit of a game based on the topic.
You'll
of the
never
day?
believe what I've done.
I will not.
So you know how I love a horse name generator?
We love that you love it.
I was able to find a song name generator. You can put in a mood and a genre. So I have chosen romance/love and the genre of jazz.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
I'm going to give them a jazz song.
All right, Dave, why don't we go one for one if Jess is going to be doing all the things?
Mano a mano. Let's do
All
it.
right, well, I'll kick us off.
I got a great one.
If I can thank from Accokeek in MD, maybe
Maryland?
Maryland in the United States, it's Michael Hemphill.
Famous for their song, I Believe in Lounge.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
You believe in lounge after lounge.
Gotta
I
be
believe in a
jazzier.
thing called a lounge.
Yeah, so many.
I would like to pay tribute and say thank you from Tom Ball in Texas, Cammy Jamison.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
Jammy.
Cammy Jammy. from
What
Tumble.
about afternoon?
What about afternoon?
There's
What
not a
about
question,
afternoon?
so it's like, what about afternoon?
Yeah. Why'd you leave afternoon out? What's your favourite time of day?
It's all
Good
questions.
Night,
These are all questions.
midnight, morning,
What about afternoon?
midday.
Do you believe in afternoon?
Can I thank from
Sorry.
Balcars or Balcara in, I reckon, Saskatchewan in Canada. It's fire with a PH.
Oh, and convenient because the next one I had was that warms your game.
Oh, yeah, it really does. And
Yeah.
fire already had a
That
sweet
warms your
game
game.
already.
That warms your game.
That's
It makes
good.
sense when you hear the song.
Okay, thank you. From right here in Melbourne, a big shout out and thank you to Liam Ware or Liam War. Probably Ware.
Just a light drink.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that good?
Just a tipple.
So
That's
jazzy.
a classy order too.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a great one. Yep.
Keeping a little mystery alive. Just a light drink. Anything in particular? Surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm a jazz man.
Doop-a-da-bop. It's more about the alcohol you don't put in the glass.
Oh, not tequila.
Do you think
Thank
jazz lovers are really over
Yeah, I think they might be.
over that joke?
Blakeview from, I'm saying this in a jazzy way, Blakeview from South Australia. It's Caitlin Dowden.
Caitlin Dowden. I believe in a thing called world. Remember,
Wow.
these are AI. These
How
are AI.
does it do it? It keeps generating these brand new ideas.
I believe in a thing called world.
Yeah, some people don't believe in the world, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, what shape is it?
I tell you what,
Cube.
it's cube.
Cubic.
It's a world gone mad, which was the name of a Screaming Jets album from the late 90s, and on the cover was the world as a cube.
Wow.
That is mad.
They were ahead of their time.
Yeah. I'd also love to thank from North Ridgeville in God's country itself, Ohio, in the United States. It's Captain Bon Clay.
Captain Bon Clay. And Matt, you'll love this one because this is called Loving Love. And you do love love.
I love love more than anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know a lot about love, but I know what I like, and that's love. A little line from my festival show last year. That's how good it was.
Wow, you're quoting yourself here. Do
That's right.
Wow.
you mind if I jump back in?
Oh, please.
I would like to thank from Dunblane in Scotland, Ewan Morrison.
It's another one that makes sense when you hear the song, but it's called First Time of Sounds.
Oh, yeah. I still remember my first time.
Of Sounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the sound?
It changed my life. It was, oh, God damn it. Oh, it's torn me apart. I did 2 in a row there, didn't I, Dave? So you want to do 2 in a row?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for noticing me and writing this wrong. From Sorrel in Tasmania, Melanie Gleeson.
Famous for main squeeze moves.
Oh, that's good.
the best so far.
Main squeeze moves.
Yeah.
Let me show you some of
That's my main
squeeze.
squeeze. Oh, okay. We took it in a different, and that's the beauty of art. You can interpret it in all sorts of different
And your
ways.
side squeeze can have different moves.
Yeah.
Possibly better.
Yep. But different.
Different.
And finally, I'd love to thank from Mackay. Mackay?
Mackay.
From Mackay.
I wasn't laughing at you, I was laughing at the song.
From Mackay in Queensland in Australia, it's Lauren Mountme. Lauren Mountme, I'm barely even... Yeah, no, it doesn't
Yeah.
really work when they're
Lauren-
already doing...
Lauren is, I'm just going to try to save you here, mate. Lauren, famous for whatever happens tomorrow, I had my choice.
Jeez, the robots try so hard to think, isn't it?
Whatever happens tomorrow, I had my
I had
choice.
my choice.
Oh, Lauren, not me.
Thank you so much to Lauren, Melanie, Ewan, Captain Bon, Caitlin, Liam, Fire, Cami, and Michael. The last thing we need to do here is welcome a few people into the Triptych Club. Dave, you explain it so well. How does it work?
This is basically our tribute show, our lounge, our clubhouse, our hangout zone, our chill pad for people that have been supporting the show for 3 consecutive years on the shout-out level or above. We've already given them a nickname or something earlier on to enshrine them forever. We welcome them into the Hall of Fame. Your name goes up on the board. It goes on a plaque. You run in to the zone, which is it's a bit of theatre of the mind. We've got a band. It changes every week.
Yep.
We've got Jess behind the bar with some food and cocktails. It's a lovely place to be.
Yep.
I'm the doorman, and I've got the list of names. 3 names on the list tonight. When I read out your name, you run on in. Dave will be on the stage emceeing the show, hyping you up with some weak wordplay. Jess, you're behind the bar. What's the drink this week?
We got French martinis.
Oh,
I'm going to put a
fantastic.
little French flag in them just for fun.
Yeah.
I got some escargot. It was really gross. Please don't eat them. I've befriended all of the snails.
Oh, yeah.
They are my friends now.
Yeah, don't eat them.
Please don't eat them. But we do have French fries. Also, I have befriended the French fries.
Yeah,
so
please don't eat them.
Please don't eat this week.
Just don't eat. Just drink.
Just drink on an
Liquid
empty
lunch.
stomach. You'll be fine.
Yeah. And Dave, you've booked a band. Who you got?
You're never going to believe it. I didn't know that this subject would be set in France. And we have one of France's greatest bands joining us this week.
Yes.
It is Ultra Vomit.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
But they will be playing exclusively tracks that Josephine herself would have played.
Because
Okay.
in this, you can book anyone, including living and dead people. And
Yeah.
this week's episode was about an entertainer.
Yeah, you couldn't have gotten Josephine. She was...
Well, obviously, that might be
booked
coming
away
up.
ahead. Yeah.
That might be next week. I don't know.
That's a good point.
People often confirm at the last minute. People of this high caliber, they don't want their schedule being published in advance.
Dave, are you ready to hype some people up?
Let me, Adam.
All right, here we go. 3 names this week, Dave. Firstly, welcome into the club. You can never leave, which is a good thing. From Brooklyn in New York City, it's Brandon Wang.
Brandon Wang here for a good hang.
Woo!
From High Wycombe in Western Australia, it's Tamara Potts.
Tamara Potts. I've got the hots.
For Tamara Potts.
For Tamara Potts. Yeah, that's good.
Not your value, but your heart.
Yeah.
And finally, from Treorchy in Great Britain, it's Chris Williams.
More like Great Chris Williams, Great Britain.
I'm guessing I've got Treorchy pretty badly wrong there.
Cannot be Treorchy.
How would you say it?
Treorchy.
Trauky. Do you reckon it's Trauky?
Is it?
Trotchy.
Just the
Trauchy.
name Chris Williams makes me assume Welsh,
What
which
about
means I got no chance.
Getting raunchy in Trauchy.
There it is.
It is in Wales.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, you give me the pronunciation and then I'll work something into it.
That's a...
Treorchy, is that what I said?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's
Okay.
Treorchy. Holy shit.
Having a great talkie with my mate from Treorchy.
There it is.
Chris
Welcome
Williams.
into the club. Grab yourselves a martini or whatever Jess said.
French martini.
French martini.
Enjoy Ultra Vomit.
Enjoy the Ultra Vomit, which is extra good if you don't eat this week.
Can I just find on the metalarchives.com, the genre is death metal / grindcore early, then various later. Their themes are humor and parody.
Oh.
So they're a fun band.
They sound like they're going to
The
rule.
party's going to go all
Yeah.
night long tonight. Welcome into the club. Chris, Tamara, and Brandon, make yourselves at home. Enjoy Ultra Vomit. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Anything we need to tell people before we go?
That you can suggest a topic. There's a link in the show notes. It's also over on our website, dogoonpod.com. And you can find us on socials at Do Go On Pod and Do Go On Podcast on TikTok. We're huge over there,
Hey, if you want to see these faces talk the talk,
which some people have said they find very upsetting.
check us out on TikTok. Absolutely.
Yep, Instagram.
Yeah, our faces. We're talking now.
Yeah, we're old. We're on Instagram. Go there mostly. I was going to say we're all in our 30s. That's not true, is it?
Oh, I'm millions of years old. It was great going to the Windy City last year, or this year,
Earlier this year.
to see where my younger brother, how my younger brother's doing. The wind.
It's always good to catch up with the little bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, all of those things. And Dave, boot it home.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us in the glorious year that's been 2023. We
yeah.
hope you have a safe end to the year, and we'll see you back.
Never. This is our last ever episode, and
Whoa.
we're saving it till right now to tell you.
That's how good 2024 is going to be.
It's going to be so good. We're too busy.
No, podcasting never sleeps.
That's right.
So we'll be back next week. And until then, also thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year and goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
Happy New Year.